Plans are underway in Fall River to create something very special to honor those Vietnam veterans who did not return from that conflict. A group of veterans raising money to build an 80% replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. The replica will be located at Bicentennial Park in Fall River. I have to tell you, an absolutely perfect location for it. My guests this morning are Justin Latini, Joe Marshall, and Jack Sprague. They are, well, primary movers and shakers, but I'm sure there are others involved. It's great to have you here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start with you, Joe. You're not doing this alone. Who is involved, and how much do you think this will cost? Let's talk about it.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
That was foremost in our minds, actually, when we started this. We had a group of men and women. This started with Ray Haig, the veterans agent, and it goes back maybe 4 or 5, 6 months in 2017. He said this opportunity's there, but it kind of sat on the table. And then we started talking, several of us, Jack and I and Justin and Billy Damaris, and we said, let's take it off the table and see if we can do something with it. So we took it upon ourselves. We called this company in Texas who manufactures these. And I think it's important to note there's 3 of these in the United States. None in the Northeast, but there's one in Oklahoma, Kentucky, and I think the other one's Florida. So there's 3 80% replica that this company has manufactured. None of the 3 are exactly like Washington. That's one of the things that was important to us, our group, was that it replicate the Washington Monument. So that's what we're doing. Now again, they manufacture this, there's still a lot of infrastructure and things that have to be done to manufacture that. So once we had the idea, which everything starts with an idea, then we put our group together to see who would be willing to roll up their sleeves and get involved. They did. We've got, I think it's 12 or 13 people. And we have a website, and we'll probably say that throughout this interview. But I would like people to check our website, if I may say.
What is it?
It's the Vietnam Memorial Wall.org. The Vietnam Memorial Wall.org. And there's a lot of information on there. The membership is on there. The plea to help is on there. There's a lot of good information. But when we put this together, from a financial perspective, what we knew, and there's more to it than I even imagined, what we knew is that to buy the wall was going to be about $300,000. And to put the project together was probably going to be about $1 million. We don't know how much volunteerism is out there. I mean, every time we ask somebody to do something, they say yes. So it's just a matter of getting the right people to do the right things. But we're in a fundraising mode right now. We formed our 501c3 in November of 2017, and then we just put our committees together. We've met with people. We're making lists every time we encounter someone. Would you like to help? Write the name down, and when the time is right, we'll go to those people. But that's how we started, November of 17, and looking for $1 million.
Jack Sprague, we have the original wall. We have 3 of these replicas, and we have a moving wall that goes around the country.
Yes.
Why did this group feel it was important to have this permanent?
Well, actually, the moving wall came to Fall River some time ago, but we really felt that, that is a passing thing, and it will move on to another city and so forth. But we really wanted Fall River to have, begin the project as a permanent project, not just for Fall River, but for all of Massachusetts. And we've secured the exclusive right for the wall. It's the only one that can be constructed in Massachusetts, plus a 50-mile radius outside of Massachusetts. So it's really unique, and it's a wonderful thing for South Coast. The Bicentennial Park has the Iwo Jima Memorial, the Gold Star Families Memorial, the Korea Veterans. So this is an ideal location. And we wanted, I should add, we wanted it not just to honor Vietnam veterans who didn't come back. And that number changes as new information becomes available. Over 58,200 names. But all Vietnam veterans, period, we want to honor their service, and we want to honor the service of all veterans at any time. This is not a time in this country, and some of us feel, that service to the country is honored as it should be. And that's what provoked us and helped motivate us to move forward.
I had a question about the black marble that was used in the original wall. Will that be part of this, or will that be a replica as well? Justin Latini.
We're calling them memorial pavers. These are pavers that you can purchase, and they'll be put in along the grounds near the wall. The wall itself is metal, but these pavers will be the black granite polished, which will reflect similar to that at DC.
You're listening to Town Square Sunday. My guests, Justin Latini, Jack Sprague, and Joe Marshall. They are the movers and shakers, if you will, behind a project to create a replica Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in the city of Fall River. Yes, with 58,000 names, and it's really a salute to Vietnam veterans, and to the Vietnam veterans, of course, who did not return. Justin, you have a fundraising event planned for September at Bristol Community College.
That's
tell us about that.
We're doing the college is going to be the site sponsor, and two major sponsors for that is the Medeiros Insurance Agency and KP Manning Auto Parts are our other sponsors. The bike show is on September 9th. It's 9 to 2 o'clock. Pre-registration's at 8:30. All motorcycles and cars, doesn't have to be classic cars, any car would like to come to the show. And we're at 77 Ellsbury Street in Fall River. We have food trucks, we have vendors coming out. The wall committee will be there with a table with the displays. Both our architectural designs will be out on display. We'll be able to talk to veterans about the project, and those who want veterans, friends, families, come out. There are going to be trophies awarded to the participants of the show. And the music, we're going to have a DJ there, Johnny Angel. He's a local New Bedford. Will be spinning the tunes for the day. And we have, hopefully, we're underneath the overhang. It's the solar area, panels of, so this cover, we don't have to worry about shade. All the bikes and the cars will have plenty of shade.
So it should be a good event.
It should be a great event.
And I bet this won't be the last fundraiser.
No, we've had two smaller events. We actually had the Men Can Cook, which was in March, and we had actually St. Anne's just put on a bake sale. They raised $500 up at the St. Anne's Hospital in New Bedford, and then there was a pool tournament held a few weeks before that. So,
this next question is for Joe Marshall. Joe, how can people make donations? You are obviously willing to accept corporate donations, I'm sure. You'd love to have that, but how can people make donations?
Okay, on our website, which is VietnamMemorialWall.org, I repeat myself, but there's a spot on there to do that. And actually, the bike show, we've got some advertisement on there that supports what we're doing. But I can give a couple of examples of some of those donations I received at the beginning. 2 money orders for $5 each from a lady who said that her husband died in Vietnam, and it was just 2 money orders, and it's wonderful. Of course, we sent her a thank you. And then another one I met over the weekend where she was graduating from high school, and her childhood sweetheart went off to war, and he didn't come back. And so those are the things I never even expected to encounter during this. So as far as this is a grassroots effort. I mean, the corporate sponsors makes our job easier, but the advertising and the effect of just being part of this group is tremendous.
When do you think you'll be ready to begin construction? You're raising money, may take a while.
We have a timeline. Yeah, we do have a timeline because contractually, as Jack had mentioned, we've got the exclusivity but there's certain payments that have to be made over that period of time. So January is our first checkpoint, but we're expecting spring of 2020 to be complete. So once we hit these marks in January, I think it's January and March, September, construction starts, and we should have that construction the money in, by the end of next year. So we're looking at spring of 2020.
Have you seen the work of the Texas company? Is it pretty precise, Jack? Or maybe Joe, I don't know.
Well, I did a bit of research because I wanted our facilities committee to talk to these cities and towns and to find out what they encountered. And Oklahoma is the oldest one. It was 2013. And I haven't spoken to them, but our committee, a facilities committee, is talking with them. But I looked them up, and it's really, but again, 2013, the Texas company is reputable. They've delivered on the 3 that we've encountered. And there's 3 other Vietnam walls out there of a 50% replica. So this company has built 6 already, or provided 6 already.
Mm-hmm. In terms of asking other groups for help, have veterans groups offered to help?
Well, I think Justin's been.
Yeah, I've been out with all the Massachusetts Vietnam veterans. We have a state council out in the Auburn. We meet in Auburn, and they are all on board with this. In the September, we'll be rolling out to the VFW, Disabled American Veterans, AMVETS, all the other veterans groups will be reaching out, asking for some support from them. Right now, it's been overwhelming. People have been willing to step forward and help out. Other veterans groups, even other Korean veterans, the Desert Storm veterans, they're as our motto, Vietnam Veterans of America, our motto is never again will one generation of veterans abandon another. And we live by that. Especially when we see, I have to run into a veteran here in the studio today. I went up and I thanked her for what she's doing. It's important to let them know. As you know, when we came home, it wasn't the same. So we make a concerted effort to reach out to veterans who are serving now, or any veteran, and thank them for their service.
I think the exclusivity, I think, is very important in this regard, Jim, that you mentioned. And that is that veterans groups in Boston, in Springfield, out in Western Mass, Providence, they all fall within the range of our exclusivity agreement. And we're hoping that their veteran groups there in those areas will recognize the importance of what we're doing, not just for Fall River or not just for the South Coast, but for all of Massachusetts and parts of Rhode Island. I should add too that Secretary of Veterans Affairs Francisco Urema has been more than positive, and we've been getting help from anyone we've asked, politicians, community leaders, educators, everybody seems to be on board.
All right. It is a big financial nut to crack. I mean, $1 million, give or take, is a huge amount, a huge number. So what, have other fundraisers in the works besides this, a great event, but it's probably not going to bring in $200,000 or anything. Mm-hmm. So are there any other fundraisers in the works?
We'll be, as we're taking, some of these fundraisers are just to get the information out, just reaching out for people to be aware. We'll be looking at fundraisers in this winter and coming in the spring, some larger events to draw some monies for the fundraising.
And I'm sure there'll be some affordable events and maybe some on the higher end.
That's right.
Correct.
That's a good thing.
Correct.
John, you've been involved in some fundraising as a college president, BCC president for many years. This is a process, and it's introducing the event, or introducing the end game, really, is the first step here, getting people to know about it.
Yeah.
What's been the reaction from the community?
Well, it's been overwhelmingly positive. People have been just, how can I help? I don't have a lot of money. We say any donation of any size is welcome, but also talent, your skills, and what you can provide in terms of work. It's going to be some hard work canvassing the communities. Remember, this goes all throughout the state, and Justin is going down to the Big E in Springfield next week, I think it is. So, you know, the community has been wonderful about it. They recognize the value of it. And I might add another important thing of purpose that we had, in addition to honoring those who fell and those who served and all who served, but it's an educational project for the learning, as Justin mentioned. Never let generations forget about what happened in the past, and we want the families to know that we honor them.
I think the educational part of this is enormous. Just as the Iwo Jima Memorial in Fall River, that was enormous. You can't go there. I was there this summer, a couple of months ago. You can't go there and not say, wow, wow.
It's very moving.
And what you know, what the sacrifice that memorial represents, clearly.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, so again, Joe, if people want to help, how can they help? How can they get on board with this?
Okay, if I remember correctly, our website is www.vietnammemorialwall.org, and all the information's on there, including contact information of us. So if the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the challenges, and we're experiencing, is getting the word out that this is not a Fall River or a New Bedford event. It's a Massachusetts, Rhode Island event. And we know the people locally, but we've got to reach out to the people further north and further west.
And gentlemen, you've got some wonderful renderings that have been done.
Yes.
Tell us briefly about those renderings. Who did them?
Okay, thank you for we'll give them a plug, and they did it for nothing. William Stark Associates out of Fall River. As Jack was saying, people have stepped up. We've got an accountant. We've got a PayPal account. We've got everything needed to do a strong, successful fundraising, I hope.
And we're going to display those on the intro to this segment. We're going to display those renderings. They're tremendous, and this is going to be a wonderful project. I wish you all a great deal of luck. Justin Latini, Joe Marshall, and Jack Sprague of the Vietnam Memorial Wall Project in Fall River. The best of luck to you, gentlemen, and good luck with the fundraising. And we hope that when this is completed, we can have you back on and be part of the grand opening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Townsquare Sunday returns in just 1 minute.